we doing, everybody? And welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trag. I'm your host, Trag. It is Friday. It's a fantastic Friday in the great state of Wisconsin. Weather's turning out pretty nice this week, all the way around. A good week. It's been a hectic week. It's been a busy week for myself here. I've been, some good shows out there. I was recently on the show with the Sports Kings from Queens, a show out there in New York. I was on with those guys. Also on with another one, Brutally Honest Sports. I was on that show, and also on the Sports Empire Network. I'm on the baseball podcast there. So I was with that show and doing this one. It has been a hectic week all the way around. But hey, yesterday went live on Facebook. Everything went fantastic. First time going live with the show. It was awesome. I hope some of you guys who have listened along the way here to the podcast did get on Facebook. We're able to do some commenting on there. I'd like to know from you guys too. I mean, leave a review for us. Leave some stars. Leave a review. Let us know. Let me know how this show is going. If you think there's some things we got to tweak, change, everything else in between, I mean, we're always here. We just want to talk Wisconsin sports all the time and give you up-to-date news there. And if you're looking for up-to-date news, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything in between. We're on all the social media platforms there. Twitter, X, it's called now. I lose track. I mean, I'm there with social media, but I'm not. I'm like, the in-betweener. I feel like sometimes I'm an old guy. I really do. I'm a young guy. I'm only 23 years old, but I feel like I'm old sometimes when it comes to technology. Just getting the winging it at times there, as they would say. But hey, lots to talk about here. We got a weekend preview show coming up. We got to talk about some games that have happened this week. We got to talk about games coming up this weekend. There's lots to talk about. So right away, I'm looking at this game last night, the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Golden State Warriors. And well, they showed up, right? The Bucks were there. They were there. Giannis was back. That was great, right? The game wasn't great all the way around. This was a Warriors team. They were coming off of a bad, embarrassing loss to the Boston Celtics, and they went back home where the Warriors, they relatively played better at home, and they just laid the stomp on the Bucks there. And mostly early in this game here, the Bucks in the first quarter gave up 40 points to this Golden State Warrior team. They scored 78 points in the first half against the Bucks. 78 points in that first half. There aren't many games where, unless if you're shooting the lights out too, if you give up 78 points in the first half, you're going to struggle. And then that fourth quarter, 9 points for the Bucks. And I get you have some of your scrap guys, your guys who don't really get the big minutes. They're going to be the guys playing in that fourth quarter a little bit towards the end there, but 9 points is rough. You're still playing the Warriors' second team at that point, and you scored 9 points. That was a rough fourth quarter. 125-90 was the finish. Let's look at the box. Let's see what we saw in the box score. So, box-wise in this one, Crowder, 4 points. Fantastic outing from Crowder once again. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 23 points in his return from the injured list, 33 minutes played, so got his minutes back. Doesn't seem like he really missed a step. Everything's good on Giannis end there. Brook Lopez, 9 points in this game here, 28 minutes, 4 for 11 from the field. This Warriors team, they made Brook Lopez kind of a non-factor, as I like to put it, because when I looked at this game, it was, this Warriors team doesn't have a traditional big. And Brook Lopez is slower. So when you put a speedy team, this Warriors team was running circles around the Bucks. The Bucks didn't have time to set up defensively, and the Warriors were already down there, and they were in the lane. There was a couple moments in this one where they pushed this thing out to a 20-point lead, and the Bucks were all out of sorts. There was cutters, everything in between. This Bucks defense, it looked like it hadn't progressed. I'm not so worried. I think you got to change some stuff going into the next time out there. But all the way around, it's not like it's the end of the world. You move on in the next game. Everything's fine there. So looking at the box, staying in the box here, Damian Lillard, 33 minutes. He had 20 points for the Bucks in this one. Beasley, he's been cold. Last couple games for Malik Beasley, he has been cold for this Bucks team. Looking at his stats over the last 5 games here, he's had 4 points, 5 against the Clippers, 4 against the Bulls. He had 19 against Charlotte the second time, but that first time out 6 points. So Malik Beasley has struggled shooting the basketball as of late here. I mean, he's a 3-point specialist, right? That's his big game. He struggled out there as of late here for this Bucks team. So a little bit of struggle from Beasley. Off the bench for the Bucks, Bobby Portis, though, continues to be on a tear. 20 points in this game against the Warriors, 8 for 13 from the floor, 2 for 4 from downtown. Bobby was all over the place in this game. He had 6 rebounds in this one. I mean, the Bucks, you would like to say they didn't play bad, but, I mean, that first half took the wind out of their sails. And after that, it was a downhill slope. We saw it in the third, 23 points in the third, and then you had 9 points in that fourth quarter. You had 32 points in the second half in total. You're not going to win many basketball games like that these days. And that was the game for you right there. Looking for the Warriors in this one, Draymond had 12. Kuminga had 20, 29 for Curry in this one, 15 for Trace Jackson Davis, and Klay Thompson with 10 off the bench. I mean, Warriors played well. Bucks couldn't match it. That's, basically all that you can say for this game. Bucks dropped to 41-22 on the year right now. They will continue this West Coast swing over the weekend. They're going to head to the Lakers next. That will be tonight here. That'll be a 9 o'clock tip for that game on ESPN. Lakers coming in 34-30. The Bucks coming in this one 42-22, like I said there. Bucks, like we know it, they are in their last 5, they are 4-1, so they've been rolling as of late here. This Lakers team 3-2, they're coming off a loss there to the Sacramento Kings. Before that, they did beat OKC, lost to Denver. Right now, the Lakers are in the middle of a 5-game homestand here. Well, the Bucks will be the 5th of that homestand there. On this homestand, they've played the Wizards. They went to overtime against the Wizards. So this Lakers team, they got LeBron. LeBron's out there. But other than that, this Lakers team isn't, they're not crazy. It's not like this is a crazy good team. I expect a good game here for the Bucks. Looks like I don't expect Chris Middleton. From what I heard, it could be this game. It could be the next game. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. What we learned from him talking was absolutely nothing. Plain as day, we didn't learn a dang thing by hearing what Chris Middleton had to say about his availability coming up here. So, not sure about Chris Middleton. Giannis, I expect him to be out there. Playing this last game, seemed to play fine. Everything was good with him. So, I expect Giannis out there. For the Lakers in this one, Cam Reddish, game time decision here. Anthony Davis, LeBron is also a game time decision. Gabe Vincent is out, and so is Christian Wood. So, Lakers have been dealing with some injuries. Bucks dealing with a big injury themselves in Chris Middleton. So this should be a good matchup here. Right now, Lakers are favored in this game. Looking at the stats, LeBron, as you would expect, leads this Lakers team points per game, 25 points a game right now. Leads them in assists. Anthony Davis leads in rebounds right now for the Bucks. Gonna be a good game. Will be a good game. I'm getting sick and tired of these 9 o'clock tips, though. I got to stay up, watch these games here. 9 o'clock tip on ESPN for that game there from Crypto.com Arena there in Los Angeles, California. Should be a fantastic game for the Milwaukee Bucks. You take this last game with a grain of salt. You move on. You've won 5 out of the last 6 out of the last 7 games. If you are the Bucks, that's not a bad start to the second half. So, take it with a grain of salt, move on, take on the Lakers, bury the Lakers here, and everything will be fine with the world once again. So, with that, before we move on here, I want to mention a couple of our sponsors of the show, a couple of our fine sponsors on the show here. First, your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home, or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. Also, Sports Scene, sports cards, and memorabilia. Stop in there in the Marshfield Mall. See Al. Al can get you anything from sports cards. He's got memorabilia in there. They got jerseys. They have model cars. Everything in between at Sports Scene in Marshfield. So stop in there and see Al at Sports Scene in the Marshfield Mall. Also, Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville. With that, though, moving out of the Bucks, staying in Milwaukee sports, I want to get to the Brewers. Brewers had a game yesterday that was against the White Sox. Got the win. 8-2, the Brewers snuck out a win there. Snuck it out. I like to say that. Snuck it out against this White Sox team. 10 hits for the Brewers in this one. 2 hits for the White Sox. Very good game pitching for the Brewers there. Abner Uribe got the win for the Brewers in this one. Shaw took the loss for the White Sox. Looking at the hitting for the Brewers in this one. So a couple of the normal everyday guys. Monasterio, 1 for 4 in this game here. We saw a little bit of Rhys Hoskins, 1 for 2 in this game against the White Sox. Joey Wiemer, 0 for 2 in this game. Wes Clark. This guy's going to find a way. He's going to find a way on the big league roster at some point here. This guy is another home run. He's got, in this game, he had 3 RBIs. He had a big home run for the Brewers. This guy is a home run hitting machine. I don't know how you keep him out of this Brewers, or not in the lineup, but at least on the bench or a thought for the bench at some point here. This guy is crazy. Also, Jefferson Cuero did play in this game. Didn't have any hits, but hey, Jefferson Cuero has thrown out 5 runners in 7 games. 5 runners in 7 games. The key to that is don't run on this guy. He's got a gun. Jefferson Cuero showing it off on the defensive side for the Brewers there in spring training so far. It's been fantastic what we've seen out of Jefferson Cuero. Other than that, Vinny Capera did play in this game, 1 for 3. Brewer Hicklin, just the guy that you want to see in a Brewer uniform, right? Brewer Hicklin. This guy was 2 for 2 in this game here. He had an RBI. Solid outing for Brewer Hicklin there. Other than that, not much going on for the crew there. Hernandez did start at short. 2 for 3 on the game. Good outing for Hernandez there. Luis Lara, this is an up-and-coming prospect. If there's a guy, the next guy behind Jackson Sherrill for great prospect outfield in Brewers organization, check out this guy, Luis Lara. Fantastic player down there in the minor leagues. He was raking last year. Speedy guy. Expect to hear some big things out of Luis Lara as this season goes on. Aaron Ashby did start for the Brewers in this game. 2 2/3 inning, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. But I gotta say, you know, you might look at this outing for Ashby and say, 2 runs across 2 2/3 innings, not a good outing. I thought he was fine. A lot of bad defense for the Brewers in this one, and I thought Ashby pitched well. His fastball is actually a couple ticks down right now of what he was at 95. Now he's sitting in that 93 range, sitting about there right now. So he's got to work with that velocity. Used to be more of that, or a high velocity guy. We're going to get a lot of swings and misses. Now he's kind of having to dial it back, and he's moving more into that, hey, I'm not as much of the swing and miss guy anymore. I have to work with command. I have to work on getting maybe some ground ball outs here. So changing his pitching style is going to be a big thing. The command is not completely there yet, but I expect good things out of this guy here in Aaron Ashby moving forward. He's still a good pitcher. His stuff is still got phenomenal movement. He can still get guys out. I expect good things out of Aaron Ashby here coming into this next upcoming season here. I think he can be a big part in the Brewers starting rotation when this season comes around here. He's got stuff to work through. And like I've said before, and like we say all the time, you can't read too far into what you see in spring. And I think that's a big thing we got to watch if we are Brewer fans, is don't panic with Aaron Ashby. It's going to be fine. Everything will be fine. Right now, pitching-wise with the Brewers, you can't panic. I know a lot of the Brewers' main guys are getting roughed up. It gets worrisome. I won't say it doesn't get worrisome, but there's no reason to panic. We just go with the flow, right? We're Brewer fans. It's a cycle. They get our hopes up. At some point, they let us down. We just got to go with it, right? So in this game, outside of Ashby, Abner Uribe, like I said earlier, he did get the win. 1 inning pitch, zeros across the board for him. Elvis Peguero, inning pitched, 1 strikeout. Tyler Wosener, a good outing for Wosener. 2 innings pitched there, 2 walks and a strikeout. Solid outing there out of Tyler Wosener. So good all the way around for the Brewers in this one. They did get to Dylan Cease a little bit early on in this game. 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and he gave up a home run there. Did Dylan Cease there. Did have 5 strikeouts, though, in his outing. So solid day for the Brewers against the White Sox. They moved to 5-7 in the spring schedule here. They will have the Oakland A's coming up today here. That'll be a 2:10 start for that game against gonna be the Las Vegas A's at some points here, but not quite. Not quite. We're still talking Oakland, and it's going to be a split squad game. So they're going to be playing they're going to play at home against Oakland, and they will be playing away against Oakland too. D.L. Hall will get the start for the home game for the Brewers. Stripling will face them there for the A's. Looking at the road game for the Brewers, it looks like Carlos F. Rodriguez, a very good pitching prospect for the Brewers, will get the start in that one. He will face Spence for the Oakland A's. Over the weekend here, we're going to see the A's again over this weekend. First, looking at the game against Seattle, that'll be at American Family Fields of Phoenix. No decided pitcher for that one. Looking at the game on the road against the A's. Also for the Brewers, no decision yet on who will pitch in that game. Flipping to Sunday, we will see the Colorado Rockies from Salt River Fields at Talking Stick there in Scottsdale. No decision yet on who we will see for the Brewers. I believe Freddie hasn't pitched in a while. Maybe see a little bit of Freddie Peralta here coming up. I could see that for this Brewers team. I believe he hasn't pitched since the Diamondbacks game last Sunday. So maybe we see a little bit of Freddie Peralta over the weekend here. We are going to see D.L. Hall, like I said there. Other than that, I'm not sure. Maybe Jacob Mizorowski. Maybe we'll get a little Jacob Mizorowski start for the Brewers. It's exciting. It's an exciting time of year for the Brewers right now. I mean, come on. What's not to get excited? We're getting closer and closer to spring training here. And we're in spring training. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the regular season, and it's exciting time of year here. It seems like the spring training schedule seems like it takes forever sometimes. I am a guy who says that they need all that time, so don't get me wrong. I agree that they need all that time to get pitchers right, to get guys worked in, younger guys, everything like that. I'm completely all for that. But sometimes it's like, man, I mean, spring training seems to last forever, and then all of a sudden it just seems like opening day gets farther and farther away. It doesn't seem like it's coming fast enough, but hey, before we know it, opening day of baseball will be here, and we will be excited to see the Brewers come back to American Family Field, and we can watch a little Brewer baseball there. So everything exciting with the Brewers right now. I want to jump over and get into Marquette. Marquette took the loss, and they took the loss to UConn last night. 74-67 was the final in that one. Marquette, I mean, you had no Tyler Kolek. You did have Oso Ighodaro, but Ighodaro was coming back from injury, or not from injury, but from illness, coming back to this game here. So it's like, how much do you weigh this game against Marquette? And I would say, honestly, to me, you weigh it, but in a good way. Because Marquette did lose, but they didn't lose bad. It's not like it was a bad game. They actually played this game close, and late in this one, I believe they were only down. They might have got it. I gotta double check that once, but I thought they got it back to at least 3 here late in this game. Just double checking that stat here. It was late in this one. They got it to a 72-67 game late in this one, and they got a steal. They got the ball back, had a costly turnover, weren't able to capitalize, and then Marquette hit free throws down the stretch there that kind of sealed the deal for Marquette. A lot of sloppy play out of Marquette late in this one. I thought that they were kind of out of sorts maybe that was because of no Tyler Kolek. There's no guy to get him ready to rock there. And Cam Jones, UConn was able to kind of cover up Cam Jones. No Tyler Kolek. You weren't as heavily on these other guys. I mean, Ben Gold is a good three-point shooter, but he struggled at times this year, so you weren't really all over these other guys. You were able to just cover up Cam Jones. That was the guy they wanted to go to late in this game here. They covered him up. Joplin had to try and make a play. He turned it over, and then I believe other than that, I mean, Gold missed the three late in this one. Iguodaro had a good game. I mean, all the way around, Marquette played a good game in this one. Marquette played a good game. It's just UConn, very good team. And even without Tyler Kolek, I thought it was still a good game all the way around out of Marquette. Looking at the box in this one, just wanted to see how they all stacked up in this game here. Caravan went for 23. Newton went for 10. Cam Spencer, 17 points out of Cam Spencer in this one. Klingon was held to 9, so they did well on Klingon in this game. But when you got two guys like Caravan and Klingon, you got to pick to shut down one guy, and the other guy's going to go off on you. That's what we saw in this one. Caravan was 5 for 9 from downtown in this game. There ain't much you can do about that. This guy can shoot the lights out of a building if he wants. This is a very good UConn team, and to play them without your full cast of characters makes it even tougher. And I think Marquette really saw that full-fledged in this game here. So, I mean, they did well against the bench. The bench only had 9 points for UConn in this one. Diarra had 9. Other than that, Ball, Johnson, and Stewart all went for nothing in that game. So, I mean, they played limited minutes, but Marquette did well against the second team for UConn. Looking at Marquette here, Joplin had 10. Iguodaro had 16. Ross, no points. Starting guard for you, no points. That's where the missing Tyler Kolek really comes into play. Cam Jones, he had 18 for him in this game here, 2 for 4 from downtown. He was 7 for 15 from the floor. Solid play out of Cam Jones, but like I said, UConn took him away as much as they possibly could, and I think that was a big killer. He was not able to take it to that next level, right? 18 points is still solid, but Cam Jones is a guy who can give you 20 plus on a night, and I think UConn did a very good job defensively against him. Ben Gold off the bench there, he had 6 points. 9 points on a Norman in this one. Lowry had nothing for him. So all the way around, not a bad game out of Marquette. If I was Marquette Golden Eagles fan, I wouldn't worry too much about this loss. You can't hang your head on it. They got Xavier coming up this weekend here. Got to win that one. I mean, that loss to UConn, it might drop you a spot in the top 25. I don't think it drops you any farther. We're going to go over bracketology here in a minute, or after we get through a couple things here. But, I mean, it doesn't drop you too far. The lowest you go is a 3 seed, I think, in the tournament. I don't think you drop any lower. I think you beat Xavier, even without a deep run in the Big East tournament. I think you've done enough in this season here. I mean, your early season, you had a win against Kansas, a win against Illinois, who is a top team now. You beat Texas, who is going to be in the field, I believe, there. You have a win against Creighton early on there. That last loss to Creighton, no Tyler Kolek, no Iguodaro. How much do you weigh that game against a team in Marquette? And same with this UConn loss here. The first time they faced UConn, that's a different story. When they played UConn there, the first time around, 81-53 at UConn, that's a different story. You had everybody for that game. So that one weighs, I mean, it doesn't weigh heavy against you, right? I always say UConn's the best team in the country. So that's where I'm at UConn. So I don't weigh that game very much against Marquette. But that just tells you the measuring stick. And it's different when you play at home too, right? I mean, Marquette had this game at home and they played UConn close. Defensively played better. I mean, it's a measuring stick, but it shows you that you can play with a team like that even without your best player. Now get your best player back and see what that game is. So Marquette, good things only moving ahead here, I think, for this team. So before we move on here, talk about the Badgers. I want to talk about that game against Rutgers yesterday night. I want to talk about a couple more of our sponsors here. First, Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply to help your team get the sweetest gear. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. If you've been injured lately, whether it's at work, on the court, on the field, wherever it is, and you need to find a physical therapist, check out Chad there at Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. He will get you right. He'll get you back on the field, back on the court, back to work, whatever it is. He'll get you back there. Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood, Wisconsin. But with that, let's get into the Badgers. They won, folks, right? At the end of the day, they won that game, 78-66. Senior night, Tyler Wall won last game at the Kohl Center. Didn't play, his best game, but all around a good game for the Badgers. Offensively, we haven't been worried offensively about the Badgers that much. We haven't been worried that much offensively about this team. It's what they could do on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I don't know how much you could weigh this game against Rutgers because Rutgers is also a struggling team. But I look at this game and I say, hey, a win's a win. End of the day, win's a win. This team blew you out by 20 last time you played them. This time, played well. Got the win on your home floor. I believe if there was any doubt that this Badger team wasn't going to make it into the tournament, I think this game solidified it. That they will be in the field in some way, shape, or form. If anybody had doubt before, this Rutgers win is going to put them in there. 19-11 overall, 11-8 in conference play. They still have that game against Purdue coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about that game in a second here, but I believe that did tons for you moving forward. So Badgers win 78-66. A big second half there, 44 points in that second half for the Badgers. Fueled them along the way here. Looking at the box, no Magoo for Rutgers in this game here. That was Mag, I believe his name is there. Mag for Rutgers. I just want to double check that. I believe Margot is, I don't think it's Margot there. I want to double check my names there. He did not play in this game, though. It was Mag. Mag was his name. Margot, that is not Rutgers. No. Margot, Nebraska, maybe? I'm kind of thinking Nebraska now. I'm leaning with Margot. But Mag in this one did not play. That was a big loss for Rutgers there. But Rutgers, Badgers defensively played well in this game. Something that we haven't been able to say for this Badger team in a while. I thought there was still some moments where the Badgers struggled. A lot of jumpers, a lot of driving lanes that were opened up, and interior for the Badgers did struggle at times, but they figured it out here. They held Murray to 7 points in this game here. Dynamic center for Rutgers. They were able to hold him down there. Davis had 10 for him and 16 for Williams in this game. All the way around, though, Badgers played well. I thought it was funny. Griffins, before this game here, he was in shoot around, and he made a three or something. He said, they can't guard me or something like that. And, the dude's a freshman. He's got some goggles. I love the goggles look. 4 for 9 in this game. So, not bad. It wasn't a bad night, but I just had to chuckle about that one there. Other than that, for Rutgers, not much going on. Total-wise, they had 18 turnovers in this game. Not a team in the Badgers that turn teams over a lot. But in this one, turnovers were a problem for both teams. So I can't say much there. Badgers had 13 turnovers for themselves in this game here. Early on, 8 turnovers in the first half. Sloppy play for the Badgers. Just boneheaded mistakes for this Badger team and a lot of just ill-advised passes, ill-advised moves. I think that was the big thing that killed this Badger team turnover-wise early on, but they fixed it in the second half there. I believe they had 8 turnovers at the half. It was right around that stat area there, but all the way around, Badgers played well in this game. Looking at the box, Stephen Crowell, 17 points. Badgers play well when Crowell plays well. That's all I'm going to say. The Badgers win games when Crowell gets into double figures and this guy is scoring the basketball. 6 for 15 from the floor. Not great. 1 for 2 from the three-point line. 4 for 4 from the free throw line. 11 rebounds for Crowell. 6 offensive rebounds. I believe 2 or 3 of them were on the same exact play. It was boom, 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 boom. I mean, I was like, son of a gun, just score the basketball here. But hey, got the foul called. I still got to see a little bit more aggressive play out of Crowell. I want to see some aggression because this guy's got it in him. And if he goes up with some aggression, this guy's going to be able to finish it, get an and one. And that's what I want to see out of Crowell here down the stretch. And you're going to need it against Purdue. We're going to talk about that game coming up, but you're going to need Crowell heavily coming up here soon. Tyler Wall, final game at the Kohl Center. I don't know, maybe some jitters. Maybe because it was the last game, it was a struggle. 1 for 6 from the floor in this game. I mean, Rutgers, long, lanky team, they can get to you defensively. So Wall had some struggles there in the post area. 1 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds. Not a bad game. 4 turnovers, though. That was kind of alarming there out of Tyler Wall. And this team had a lot of turnovers late in this one. That was the turnovers in the second half were mainly late in this game, and it was a struggle just to get the ball across the half court. So that's where a lot of those turnovers came in there. AJ Storr, though, 19 points in this game. AJ came with some big minutes for the Badgers, 29 minutes in total, 8 for 15 from the floor, 3 for 6 from the three-point line. When AJ's hitting shots and Crowell's playing well, this is a good team. This is a dangerous team when those two are playing well for this Badgers team. Chucky Hepburn, I don't know. I've tried to figure out what his philosophy is playing basketball these days, but I can't figure it out. In this game, there was a lot of moments where he had wide open shots. He had wide open looks in the lane, and he just chooses to pass it out. Now, those kickouts, he did hit open shooters. They did hit shots. I'm not going to say that it was a bad decision, but he's just so hesitant to shoot the basketball. People said that he shot too much. It's like he was on social media and hearing what Badger fans had to say and just was like, maybe I'll just stop shooting and that'll make him stop picking on me so much. I don't know. I mean, honestly, but Chucky Hepburn at times this year, he has had 15-point outbursts. He's gotten after it, but as of late here, late in this one, he took a 3. Other than that, this guy's so hesitant to shoot. It's interesting, to say the least, though. But 5 steals from Chucky. It was a big game for Chucky defensively. 5 steals in total. I believe a majority were in the first half. This guy was all over the place. Assist-wise, 6 assists in this game here. 2 turnovers. Not a bad outing for Chucky Hepburn all the way around. Interesting that he is so hesitant to shoot these days. Max Klesmit, 21 minutes, 2 for 7 from the floor, did get injured, lower body injury in this game. I saw him. He was back out on the bench, though, and looked like he was fine after that. He went to the locker room, was on the bench for a little while. Everything seems to be fine with Max Klesmit, so hopefully he checks out and everything's good there. Otherwise, bench-wise for the Badgers, Nolan Winter, 6 minutes in this game. Nothing. He had a steal, had a rebound, had a block. That's about it for Nolan Winter. Marcus Ilvers played a minute, shot a 3. That's about it for Ilvers' stat line in this one. Didn't see much out of Gilmore in this game. A season only for a minute. Blackwell played big minutes, 27 minutes in this one. 3 for 6 from the floor, 2 for 3 from downtown, 9 for 10 from the free throw line, 17 points in this game. Blackwell, he's a key. He's a key for this team. Off the bench, he's a key. I'm really curious. At some point, maybe we see more Blackwell than we see another starter here moving forward. He did play more than Klesmit in this game, but that was because Klesmit was out. Other than that, the starters played majority of it, but I'd be interested to see if we see more Blackwell here moving into the Big Ten tournament, possibly in games where you don't have that size. Maybe you can afford less Steven Crowell time, more Tyler Wall in the post area, and then put Blackwell in there and have a 4-guard look with AJ Storr, Blackwell, Klesmit, and Hepburn. Maybe that's a look the Badgers roll with. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But my player of the game, and I believe this guy might be the Patrick Beverly of this Badger team, Kamari McGee. 10 minutes played in this one, 5 for 5 from the floor, 1 for 1 from downtown. He had 11 points, 4 fouls in this game, and 11 points. This guy's a spark plug. I mean, is this what the Badgers were missing defensively? Maybe. I mean, just maybe. Because he gets after guys. He's like a Patrick Beverley. He's a nuisance. That's all I can say. This guy's like a nuisance for this Badger team. I mean, I don't know. That's the only comparison when I was watching him. I was like, this is like Patrick Beverley for the Badgers. He just gets in there, coming off of injury. This guy comes back, and he's just that spark plug that it seemed like the Badgers needed. He went on his own little run there and had the Badgers faithful up and just going nuts. I mean, I loved it. Loved what I saw out of McGee. Love to see him out there a little bit more here as this season goes on, as we get into the Purdue and the Big Ten tournament. I believe we're going to see more of him, and I really do think he could be a difference maker for the Badgers here, getting after guys, especially on the defensive end. So Badgers win 78-66 in this one. Out-rebounded Rutgers in this one, 39-31. That's always great to see. 13 offensive rebounds for the Badgers. Like I said, most of them came on Stephen Crowell's one play. Badgers, turnover-wise, still stuff they got to clean up on. But hey, a win's a win, right? We got to go win's a win, and we got to move on here. We got Purdue coming up this weekend here. I mean, I don't know how you look at this game. Purdue is going to be celebrating. I believe they're going to be their senior day. 11:30 tip. Big Ten season finale. There's going to be not a lot riding on this game for Purdue. Maybe the Badgers can jump them. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game here. It's always tough to play at Mackey. This is going to be an interesting game for the Badgers to see, hey, how close are we to actually being a competitive team again, right? We're coming off a win against Rutgers. Can we get back to what we saw in the early season magic for this Badger team? That's going to be a big thing to watch in this one. I mean, we talked about the first time. You can shut down Zach Edey, or you can attempt to shut down the rest of this team. What do you play? What kind of animal do you want to tackle? Because this team all the way around, great. Lance Jones, since he came in the transfer portal, has been phenomenal. 12 points a game for this Purdue team. Braden Smith, 13 points. Fletcher Lawyer's averaging 10, and Mason Gillis is averaging 7 off the bench. This is a solid team all the way around. I mean, there ain't much to say. There ain't much to say about Purdue. You know what they got. You know they got Zach Edey. You know they have good guard play now. This is one of the best teams in the country. How do the Badgers square off with them on Sunday? That's going to be a big thing that we're going to watch and see, where do the Badgers actually stand here heading into the Big Ten tournament. So 11:30 tip for that one. I mean, Badger-wise, Stephen Crowell. Stephen Crowell's got to have a big game. AJ Storr, we're going to have to see him step up, and I really do think Chucky Hepburn is going to have to play big in this one. Don't hesitate on shots, hit big shots, and the rest will fall for this Badger team. I think those are the big things I'm watching if I am a Badger fan, and this one is, how do the Badgers play against one of the better teams in the country? That is my big end with the Badger talk for the day, is how do the Badgers fare when they face one of the better teams in the country? So, big game there for the Badgers in that one. I wanted to look, before we move on here to bracketology, I just wanted to mention that Milwaukee men's team did beat Green Bay's men's team in the Horizon League quarterfinal there, 95-84. Big games out of BJ Freeman and Pratt and Fields for this Milwaukee team. Freeman went for 32. Excuse me. Freeman went for 32. Pratt went for 15, and Fields went for 19 in this one. For the Phoenix, Reynolds had 27 in his return from injury there. Rudiger had 17, and Bayer had 19 points for Green Bay. Green Bay season, that's basically a wrap for Green Bay. Milwaukee moves on here. Milwaukee will now face, I just want to see, I got to see once what the Horizon League tournament looks like. I'm not sure who came out of there. I believe that Youngstown State did lose to Cleveland State. I think that's in that bottom half. So I believe now the winners I believe Milwaukee will now face Cleveland State here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Yes, I believe so. I believe so. I believe they will have Cleveland State coming up here next, unless if it goes, because I see in the Horizon League tournament they do go by lowest seed there. But as they move on here, it might jump, but that 2 seed usually drops. So I expect that Green Bay is most likely going to have Cleveland State, or they will have the winner of Wright State and Northern Kentucky there. But either way, Milwaukee gets the big win over Green Bay. In Northern Kentucky did win 99-97 in that Horizon League tournament there. So, I mean, hats off to Milwaukee. They pulled off the big win against this very good Green Bay team with Noah Reynolds leading the way. So Horizon League tournament moves on here. I want to look at bracketology for a second here. And in the updated bracketology here, from Joe Lenardi, this was his recent update, and I am going to just look at it and see what I think, because sometimes I don't know if Joe's right. Looking at some of his teams in there that I just want to name off the notables here. Purdue still sits on his 1 line. Marquette is on the 2 line right now. And Wisconsin, currently, according to Joe, in that Midwest region, we would have Marquette, Wisconsin, and Purdue all in one side of that bracket. Clemson is also in there along with Kentucky. And then Baylor's got the 3 in there. I don't like the matchup with Baylor for Wisconsin, but I mean, Baylor, Wisconsin plays well. It's a beatable team. So that's an interesting side of the bracket there. Clemson is a scary team, though. I think a lot of people don't really look at that Clemson team, but Clemson is a very good team. Arizona is in the West right now. They are the 1 seed currently. Iowa State sitting in a 2 seed right now in that same region there. Creighton and Florida, the 3 and the 6. Illinois, the 4 seed, and BYU's got the 5. Michigan State's the 9 seed in that portion of the bracket right now. Looking over at the South region, I'm seeing a little bit of Duke magic in there in the 3 seed right now. Houston's the 1, Tennessee's the 2. I don't think anything will change with those 2. Utah State currently in that 6 spot. San Diego State in the 4. Auburn as a 5 in Northwestern, getting in there as an 8 seed right now. I believe last time I saw Nebraska was in some brackets going to be in that 10 line, but in Joe Lenardi's in the East region, we got UConn at that 1 spot, Nebraska as a 9 in that side of the bracket there, Alabama as a 4 seed. Washington State is an underrated Pac-12 team. They are impressive on this year here. They're currently sitting as a 5 seed there, and in Spokane, Spokane for that game there. So, I mean, a little bit of relatively home cooking there for Washington. I mean, that could be a good region to be put in if you are Washington State there. Other than that, South Carolina's the 6, Kansas at the 3, Gonzaga moved themselves back into the field. They're at that 7, and North Carolina at the 2. So Joe Lenardi has his bracket. I mean, we're getting closer and closer, right? We're getting conference tournament time. We're going to get into a little bit more conference tournament talk. I don't know. Maybe this weekend, maybe I'll jump on with you guys and we'll preview some conference tournaments. I don't know yet. We'll see how the weekend goes there. But right now, that's about all I got for Wisconsin sports. Like I said, we got a lot coming up here. Badgers coming up this weekend. Marquette got a game this weekend here. We got Bucks in action over the weekend. The Brewers are in action. Lots of Wisconsin sports going on. And hey, if you need to stay up to date, check it out at Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage on Facebook or Instagram, anywhere in between. I'll keep you up to date on there. But this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys back here on Monday. But until then, deuces.